It's great to be here. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the CEO, president, and founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with 17 companies under my belt. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also the co-founder of Evo, YVA.ai, one of the first generative AI companies. We started in 2016. It was sold May 4th of last year. We believe at GSD that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. GSD stands for Get Shit Done, by the way. I'd like to go down through this presentation. A lot of people have heard about generative AI, but they're not really sure how it applies in different ways. And today, what I'd like to do is give you some insights. So let's talk about automating the sales cycle. How to be able to increase the effectiveness of sales processes. First of all, I'm going to give you an overview of the cycle, and many of you know that, but I want to go over it to make sure we're on the same page. I'm going to talk a little bit about generative AI, how to integrate it into sales, what the benefits and challenges are, and then I'm going to have a question and answer side at the end so we can talk. So this is it. You go out, the sales cycle refers to phases that are required for a product or service. It begins from an initial point, the first contact with the suspect, all the way up to a closure. And the most important thing is we need to get paid. Lead generation, qualification, proposal, closure. A lot of these things we do as humans, but we actually have not really crystallized what it is. So with generative AI, we can explore an entirely new world. In fact, I've been talking about lately, I said this gives salespeople, this gives marketing folks superpowers. The challenge is, today with the amount of infobesity data around us, businesses can't really afford to have a long sales cycle. The faster the lead is converted from the first point of contact to a sale, the better it is, the better for the bottom line, the less expenses. I call this lean sales. A streamlined sales cycle helps because it helps with the customer experience. Imagine a one-to-one relationship, reduces the cost, and dramatically increases productivity. Businesses must adapt. My opinion is in the next 3 to 5 years, if businesses don't use generative AI in the models, there's a high probability they're not going to be in business. And it will happen very, very quickly. Doesn't matter if you're a small company that's a startup or a large company that's a Fortune 500 company. You need to do it or die. Businesses need to adapt and accelerate these processes because they need to capture leads faster in order to beat the competition. So what is generative AI? So I say it's KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. It is a subset of artificial intelligence that looks at creating novel content. By that, I mean things that didn't exist before, that produces data that resembles, using synthetic data, authentic real-world data. Think about in your worlds, and each of the people here today, you've got about 300,000 items in your personal cloud. The entire web in 1996 was 257,000 websites. Each of you here today has more information in your personal cloud, the entire web. But here's the challenge. Your own personal cloud is growing at the same trajectory as the World Wide Web. By that, I mean it's doubling every year. In 5 years with IoT, you're going to have 10 million items in your personal cloud. Think about it. How many times in the last 2 weeks has somebody said, I sent you a message, did you get it? Where did you send it? Slack, LinkedIn, Facebook, Telegram, Signal, WhatsApp. You could have 20-some different sources. Email. You can have 7, 8, 9 emails. 6 of them, 5 of them you check, 4 of them you forget about. But that's where the challenge is. How many times has somebody said, did you get it? Oh, let me check. I can't find it. Will you send it again? This infobesity, as I call it, is happening all around. It's happening with corporations, and it's happening with individuals. So what does generative AI do? Text generators. So you have now superpowers where you contextually can put together relevant human-like paragraphs and sentences in a very short form. A couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I was out in Chicago. And one said to me, I really need to go down through and I need to get a pamphlet design that's got to be over 30 pages. And I haven't done it. It's doing 2 months. And she was just talking to me. And I said, well, what's the topic? And I sat down in less than 20 minutes. It was written. Now, is it perfect? No. Do you have to check it? Yes. But the key is it gives you a starting point. It gives you superpowers to be able to change your life. Image generators for creating visual content, things like Canva, which we're using today, to be able to take ideas that are in text and turn them into visuals for your presentations, for your blogs, for your social media instantly. Data simulators to be able to use the synthetic data that I talked about, to be able to help you for things like sales processes, to test or train, to be able to do it when actual data is sensitive or scarce and you don't have it. Generative AI can create that data to be able to help make better decisions. So what's the difference? So between traditional AI, artificial intelligence, and generative AI, as I said, being able to go down through and create novel ideas from original data. Traditional AI is for decisions, classification, predictions, but it's not doing it in a human-like way, thinking, intuitive. The training methodology for generative AI often employs advanced neural networks, recurrent RNN, sometimes recurrent neural network architectures that work against each other in a way where they're training each other and they're teaching each other. So they come to the right kind of conclusion, much like when we have a didactic conversation with our friends. So the AI, the generative AI, actually is training each other to make better decisions. Where is it used? Think about it. Traditional AI is used for things like algorithmic math, for pattern recognition, for analysis, decision making. But again, generative AI adds the human touch, content creation, design, and simulation. And for those of you out there, those salespeople that aren't using it, you're going to be out of business in a few years. The marketing folks out there, this gives you superpowers. Imagine the amount of blogs you can write. Imagine around the content you can generate. Now, I'm not saying just use it at face value. I'm saying use it to be able to help you in a one-on-one way. So imagine being able to scan and analyze social media, forums, websites instantly, sift through massive amounts of information to look for leads for you. Imagine what that does for you salespeople out there. Imagine how that affects your own pocket and your own bottom line. With natural language processing capabilities, you can detect mentions of products or services or sentiments, feelings, or pinpointing users who might be interested in that offering, and then start to go after them and bring them in as a potential suspect. Predicting what potential leads would do based on their online behavior. We can look at things like, how many page visits they have, how many online actions they have, what product or service we have will fit that model. We can go out and prioritize your outreach. Part of the challenge is when you go out, it's like a shotgun approach. You go out to go for customers, you're doing a shotgun. But imagine now we have the capability to do it in a laser precise way, to focus on individuals that exhibit the exact behaviors, the high intent behaviors, to be able to help us close our deal. Personalization. I talk about this a lot. I say hyper-personalized because that's what generative AI does. It comes out and it understands that relationship, kind of like a friend, where you can have a conversation. We have like interests and wants. It tailors the presentation to that lead. Imagine that. So it understands what you're thinking about, the demographics, what kind of buying patterns you've had in the past, and it starts to tailor your presentation to help you close it. Now, is it a bad thing? Absolutely not, in my opinion, because people, again, are inundated with information. It helps them make better buying decisions. You can create customized messages, certain types of content, certain tailored promotional offers to be able to enhance the conversion. So qualification. So deep learning, generative AI can be used for lead scoring, can be used for deep learning analysis. Imagine the vast amount of information out there, identifying the patterns, as I said, the signals that can lead to a potential lead, that can look for a potential lead, scoring that can assign some type of score, magnitude estimation of how likely that person is to buy. So you're focusing on those high valued leads that can convert quickly. And prioritization. Who should I go to first? And what sales team should focus on that particular lead based on a particular vertical market or a particular buying pattern. Chatbots are incredible, right? But we've evolved from the chatbots that we've seen in the past that are really boring and not exciting. These AI-powered chatbots that we have today, these new generative AI, can engage with the leads to start developing that conversation and imagine a hybrid approach where that chatbot actually contacts a human based on where that particular lead is to be able to help them close that deal. Chatbots can do the initial filtering, go down through a massive amount of people and figure out who meets that desired, who matches that desired profile to be able to get that sale closed. And again, hyper personalized. By that, I mean having that so it's talking to you with your first name, understands who you are based on all the data that it has about you. So again, it can tailorize that pitch for you. Now think about the kind of impact it's going to have. You know, the best salespeople that I've seen are consultative salespeople. Imagine what it's doing for each one of you is giving you that consultative approach, giving you that hyper-personalized approach. After we get down through this process, imagine you could have it listening to the conversation or looking at the text and automatically generate a proposal without having human intervention. So those proposals could be done. It's not going to take us a week to get it back. It's done on the spot. The probability of closing the deal when you have contracts that come out that quickly dramatically goes up. And then again, AI systems can instantly, in real time, increase and check that proposal so that it's effective for that client today. So you got the right product at the right place at the right time. Predictive analysis. When is the time in the closing process for that individual? Remember, that individual to be able to close a deal. Which sales approaches are right? Is it consultative? Are they visual? Are they auditory? What do I need to do to be able to help close them? Do they need references? And then going out and finding those references and bringing them in automatically. So sales reps can be armed with AI-driven insights to help them get their job done and approach a lead in the best way. Automatic contract generation and management. As I said, you could actually go down through and do a proposal, but you could also have part of the process that a contract's automatically generated based on the sales negotiations that it sees in the email thread, the sales negotiation that it listens to via voice. Imagine the possibilities. No time have we ever been able to do anything like today. This is a revolution that's affecting everybody. All sales across all vertical markets, across all geographies. Imagine it understands. So one of the tools that I know of today knows 187 languages. So if you're speaking in Swahili to somebody that's in the UK, it understands and can translate. So there aren't issues. Now, is it perfect today? No, but it's getting very, very quickly. It's getting to the point where it is highly, highly reliable and aids in the process. Contract management can also aid in not only generating the contracts, but where those contracts are, what are the demographics, analyzing the contracts so you understand how to go after them for the next opportunity, how to approach them for the next sale. This is it. So where does generative AI help? It helps with the automated processes. It helps with real-time responses. It helps you make better informed strategy. And it has predictive analytics so it can forecast what the future is and understand those behaviors of the leads so that you can come up with proactive strategies and adjustment to help you close those deals faster. Get it? Look at it. Look at some of the tools that are out there. You see some of the leaders like Salesforce are moving very, very quickly in these directions. And by the way, for startups out there, this is a great opportunity for you. This is untapped territory. For you generative AI folks that come from places like Cambridge and Oxford, look at the technologies that you have. Build mixed teams with salespeople and marketing people and operations folks, because this is the next level across all vertical markets. So what are the scalability with generative AI system? We can manage an incredible amount of leads simultaneously from the beginning of the sales process all the way to the closure. We can also go down through and scale operations without having to increase our costs or resources. Another thing I want to talk to you about is digital employees. We look at these as digital employees that can actually become part of your team. In fact, we've developed some avatars already, real human-like avatars that can help you go down through the process and actually become part of the weekly call and actually have conversations. We just started it, but these are some of the possibilities that are out there for you today. Enhanced personalization, tailored engagements, these one-to-one, as I say, relationships they can have with the customers. So you do have the right product, the right place at the right time, understanding how they approach a sale. You are compassionate and empathetic with them. And on one side, it develops that relationship with the customer. On the other side, it helps you close the deals. AI continuously learns from feedback and interactions, refining the customer experience over time, helping you be able to get your marketing message out there and close the deal. So what are some of the challenges? I know we have folks from many people from Europe on this call today. We got to look at things like GDPR to make sure we're compliant. What are some of the dependencies? I don't say that AI can do it all, but we need to make sure that we're engaged in the process as humans. We need to make sure that we're handling sensitive data right, and it's done the right way for that particular customer. What are some of the challenges? Balancing the human touch, as I said, with automation is really important. We look at that blended relationship, the hybrid relationship between the human and these AI systems. If we do it properly, imagine the possibilities. The AI is doing the leads, the AI is going down through and qualifying the customer. The human comes in at the next level to be able to help close that deal, giving it the touch, going out to lunch with them or dinner, going to those conferences with them to be able to talk and shake hands. Those things are important. So in conclusion, the transformative potential of integrating generative AI in the sales cycle dramatically increases the probability of success. It dramatically increases the efficiency of the process. It is adaptive and evolving every single day today. So take a look at it, read about it, use things like ChatGPT, integrate them, use the prompts to help you through your process today. The importance of a balanced approach, I can't underestimate that. The human AI synergy is critical. We need to make sure we don't wholly rely on artificial intelligence, and we need to go down through and explore the possibilities. Each one of you out there can have superpowers. Generative AI helps you get those. Move quickly, get stuff done. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Gary@gsdvs.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So I have two questions. So on the lean sales front, you mentioned sort of shortening the sales cycle. So imagine you've got leads in, on social media, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube. How could you use AI on those tools that you don't have the ability to change the code of Instagram or of YouTube? You might be able to add an AI chatbot to your website. So how would you still use AI on those?
There's different ways depending on what kind of a partnership you have in place. Each one of our different. Some allow you to be able to go in and scrape the information from them. Some don't. Some require partnerships. It depends. The key is, I suggest for each one of you out there, you go down and explore. Maybe it's not with a LinkedIn directly. Maybe it's from a company that works with LinkedIn. That's part of the art too, isn't it? It's going out to figure out who can give you access. Access to the data is critical, but the possibilities are immense today. So go out. If you're going to Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn, you've got to take each one of them individually. And again, it evolves because some of them don't want it in. Some of them are developing their own tools, right? So they're going to be a competitor at some point. The key is what we can do is we can do it now.
Fantastic. And then the second use case, you were bringing up conferences and taking people out for dinner and for lunch and that side of things. Obviously, there's a lot of information on LinkedIn sort of for B2B sales, but what's the best way of targeting people who are speaking or attending conferences? Having, organized a physical one myself, I know with GDPR, it's everyone wants to network, but it's very difficult to share people's data ahead of time. So what's a good kind of get around for
I
that?
mean, the situation is, door number one is you have LinkedIn, right? So you have the LinkedIn data. And so if you go down through the LinkedIn data and you can feed that into some of these systems, you can start making decisions based on the LinkedIn data and the relationships because you can see them there, right? They put it out there, Facebook, and there's different ways you can cut it. But I mean, I start with LinkedIn. And so what I would do if I was them is, you got to develop a profile, who that person is and what's the best way to approach them. What kind of things do they like to do, Francesca? Do they like to go golfing? Do they like sailing? What kind of things are important for them? Just like you would do with any conversation you have with a person, right? What's important for them? Then you can build that relationship, start there and find out where the commonalities are, the similarities and not the differences. You want to start out, that opens the door for you to help get in a good way. It's all about, I've been involved in sales, marketing, business development, operations for over 35 years. And one thing I can tell you, it's good to have friends out there where you develop relationships. They're not just customers. Those are the same things. What AI does is give you some pointers on how to do it better than we've ever done before. But you got to use the tools. Use ChatGPT and go out and start using it to do your marketing. You can do sentiment analysis with ChatGPT right now today on your emails coming in to figure out how to best respond to that customer today.
And the last question I have is, you're mentioning digital employees. Are those, your personas that you're turning into avatars and you're inviting them to team meetings? Or could you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
AI also has the ability to mirror who it's speaking to a lot easier. It would be hard for an AI to say, oh yeah, I like golf too.
Well, and the thing is, we're very quickly coming to that world though, because if you look at like the next generations of ChatGPT, where you add empathy and compassion, kind of like your grandmother. You know what I mean? How your grandmother loves you no matter what.
Sure.
You go over and if you want fish or chips, you get fish or chips and she'll cook them up for you, or curry, whatever it is, or take a walk. But it kind of like that kind of relationship where it cares about you. And the evolution of this, imagine having a digital twin that cares about you like you do about yourself and wants to help you and wants to help guide you, whether it's sales and marketing or medicine, who's the right doctor to go to, or who's the right mechanic. Let me help you set up the appointment, or sushi on a Saturday or Sunday, whatever it is, imagine it. But that's the evolution to deal with the infobesity.
Yeah. And what do you think about political correctness? Because some of the best brands have personalities behind them who will be very honest and speak their mind and have very strong opinions. And AI will be trained to be, your grandmother, or have that personality type that's warm and caring, but sometimes that doesn't lead to a sale. How do you see that sort of progressing in future?
Well, I mean, the thing is, you can make it very intuitive so it does lead to a sale. It doesn't make the mistakes that you would, right? Because it actually understands the guardrails of what it takes to get to that sale. So on the other side of it, it's guiding it forward. And so you're right. I mean, sometimes humans don't think, right? Because they don't have enough data. They can't analyze enough data. But imagine the possibility if you have all the data in the world in front of you, you can use that to make your decisions. How much better do you get?
Sure. Very,
I'm
very.
not saying this is the end of it. I'm just saying this is the beginning. It's going to change your lives.
Yeah,
You
no,
understand? This is better than electricity at the beginning of the 20th century. You know, look at all the challenges we have on this planet. They need to be addressed. And if we use these tools wisely, if you're pragmatic about life, nothing good happens if you program artificial intelligence to be pragmatic with not empathy and compassion, because nothing good's going to happen, right? Nothing. But if you start to add some of those human elements in a good way, it's like having a kid, right? Or a dog. If you train it the right way, it becomes a good citizen for the most part, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't, nothing good happens. We got to go down through, and we better think of this differently, because we're going to have a situation where this artificial intelligence will be close to the level of the capacity of 60,000 complex transactions per day, which is a human brain, right? And when you're sitting across Francesca too, who's your digital twin, and you're having an argument about what kind of makeup I'm going to wear today, right? Or what kind of shoes or whatever. But I mean, literally, but it's going to have all the information in the world. Now, if you train it to be compassionate and empathetic and to guide you like your grandma, that's a different story. So we're, part of it as humans, we've got to open up our minds to make sure that it's not a linear approach, that we're very broadly going after this, and we're taking in considerations a lot of things, because it's going to happen and it's going to change our lives forever. Think about it. I wrote about ChatGPT in 2020, July 21st, 2020. I wrote one of the first articles, and people said it's never going to happen. This is just a pipe dream. Now look at it. Everybody's talking about it. It's changing us.
Yeah. So we've got a question from Jeff, but yeah, I'll let Jeff ask his question.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, thank you, Gary. That was absolutely fantastic. Hi there. Absolutely fantastic presentation. That was absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for that. Really, really happy with that. Can I just say, yeah, I mean, like yourself, I've got plus 30 years experience in sales and retail. Just going back to one thing you said during the presentation, the hybrid approach with AI bots and handing over leads. I mean, given where the technology is right now, how detailed is that likely to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually companies like Runday today are actually doing it. So Runday and one of our other companies actually is engaged with one of the top manufacturers of cars in the world. They're actually doing it right now. And so Runday is one of my portfolio. I have 139 companies in my portfolio, by the way, from 57 countries today. So we're all over. We're in Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia. We're finding the best AI companies, and we use Silicon Valley as a port for them, right? We're helping them. Why? Because there's a lot of capital in Silicon Valley. In fact, if you look at it, the valuations, could be 40, 50% higher than in the UK. Why? Because you just have a lot of people interested in the leading technology today. That's not to say it's not a great environment in other parts of the world, but it's just a lot of them come there to order to nurture those companies. It's just a place. But yeah, it's going to happen. Jeff, it's happening right now. So Runday's doing it right now today. So if you look at Runday, Renday, that's actually one of the companies in my portfolio that's doing it right now. And we're doing things with digital. There's another company called Simple Night. Simple Night is a company that's a super app. It's like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Amazon combined. They're also doing it today. So it's not like if it's happening, it is happening.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. One last question, which is more of a philosophical question. So in what I've come across this meme where you have an AI sales bot dealing with an AI procurement bot, and you don't have any humans altogether, because we come to realize that machines are more intelligent than humans and more capable than us. So in your mind, what is intelligence? And what is intelligence?
So I'm a clinical psychologist too, so I could spend a lot of time on it. But intelligence, there's different types of intelligence, but intelligent is caring about people and as they care as you care about yourself, right? In the same kind of way. For me, it's a very high level thing. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You get to a point of self-actualization. And my situation is intelligence is having all the data in the world basically at your fingertips and being able to make decisions on it. The problem is in our lifetime, we're not here long enough to be able to really capture it. You know, the closest person I know that's done it is, well, actually two of them, Nikola Tesla and Elon Musk, right? And the reason is they have a 60,000 foot view of life from the very top, so they know what's going to happen next. I mean, this isn't rocket science. Think about it. Electric cars, we know we're running out of gas and oil. This was not rocket science that you need to have electric cars, right? Then the situation, we need to go to space. Why? Our population's 8.1 billion, going to 13 billion by the end of the century. We got a lot of climactic issues right now, a lot of them. And so, you know, there's about 100 million Earth-like planets just in the Milky Way and about 2.2 trillion galaxies in the universe. So just the Milky Way has 100 million Earth-like planets, closest to a Goldilocks zone, or closest to a star that they could have life, and there's 2.2 trillion estimated. So 2.2 trillion times 100 million, right? Think about it. So, I mean, this is just the beginning of the evolution of humanity. My thing is we're in a very critical time. In fact, I got to speak at the United Nations twice about technology as a tool for peace. We need to figure out how we can get along with each other and help each other. And these tools that are come out there, I'm very bullish about the fact that we better figure out it's not just about money. It's about how, you know, it's like when I grew up as a kid, you used to go to your next door neighbor and get a stick of butter if you needed it. It's kind of like that thing. We better figure out how to put our hands out and to help each other. And through the sales process, it's not to hurt the customer, it's to help them make better decisions. You're not trying to jam things down their throat that they don't want. It's to help them so they can help themselves make sense of the infobesity. And salespeople out there, really good salespeople, are good at building relationship with folks. They're at the very highest level. They know how to go to the top and sell, and they know what kind of products or services. They know what the person's personality's like, so they can deal with them in that way. Well, AI is going to give us some indications of how to do it better, and the smart salespeople that are out there will take it. The ones that don't, there'll be two tiers: the salespeople that understand the data and use the generative AI, and the ones that don't. And they're going to be so dramatically different in terms of their efficiencies. The lower rank probably won't be around though. It's going to change that quickly. And it's happening now.
Fascinating. Well, I'm going to be following, you know, all of your work on LinkedIn. I'd love to see.
Sure. I have GST Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. I've got about 1,000 podcasts I've done, including Burning Man. So check it out. Twice a week I have those. You're welcome to share those, Francesca, if you want. I speak all over the world about generative AI and the age of influence. I've written a few books, so you can go on Amazon. There's a few books out there. Whatever we can do to help. If you want to make your lives better, if you want to take part in this incredible infobesity resolution, look at generative AI, because it's going to help you make decisions better. Play with it, go into ChatGPT, get the prompts, play with it, get used to it. It's going to be important. If you don't, you'll be illiterate soon.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.